Hey everyone, it's Suey here. Today I'm doing a tag called Oh, the Places You'll Go, and it was originally created by Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic, and I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. I think the idea of this one is taking some snippets from Oh, the Places You'll Go book by Dr. Suess, one of my all-time favorites, and having two prompts to go with the little snippets. A book prompt and a life prompt. So this is a little bit get to know you kind of prompt along with book discussion. So what's better than that, right? Man, it is snowing like crazy outside. Springtime. Okay, then number one, which direction you choose. Book prompt is, what's the first place you go to in a bookstore? Probably I want to see the new releases, maybe that's on a display up front. And then I often head to the YA section because those books are always the ones that jump out at me. And then the life prompt of this one is, what is the biggest life decision you've made that has impacted your life? Well, I think it goes without saying that getting married is a pretty big one that happened back when I was 21 years old. After we got married, a couple years later, or a year or so later, when my husband had all kinds of job offers and he chose to stay here in this area where our parents are at. It was a great decision, but I always think back on what if we would have chosen to go outside of state and choose one of the other jobs offers that he had. Our lives would have been so different. And there's another one I was just telling somebody about. After we built the house that we're in right now, we bought another lot in another neighborhood close by, but it's a great neighborhood. And we dreamed of building our dream house there for years. And then we decided, never mind, that we would just stay here. And so we sold that lot. And I always think, what would have happened if we would have moved and ended up in that neighborhood the rest of our lives? Anyway, so that was a big decision for us to stay here. Those two are kind of similar. Decisions to stay instead of go. Sometimes we both think it would have been nice for us to experience other things, but it's also been nice to be around here too. So number two, too smart to go down any not so good street. Book prompt. What did you used to read that you don't read anymore? Well, I used to read a lot of classics, and I don't feel like I read them much anymore, which is why I'm doing my little try to read 6 classics at least this year challenge. I used to read so many classics, and it just hasn't happened lately, so I'm trying to do better on that one. Dystopian used to be a huge genre that a lot of people were reading, and I fell into that hole back in the day, and I just don't feel like I'm reading much of those anymore. I rather read like contemporary books for the most part. Life prompt on that one is, what have you learned either as a hobby or an education that you value the most? I really don't know. I can't even think of what I've learned in education. As a hobby, editing videos is something I've been teaching myself how to do since it first became a thing, like way back in the day. And I love that. I value and I love it, I guess, especially for doing this YouTube hobby. But I don't know that it's necessarily any great true value. Do you know what I mean? 3, you'll be seeing great sights. Pick a book with an attractive cover. The one that's just right here that I was thinking of is this one, The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. Do you think that one's cool? And the cool pages. Yeah, that one, I like that one. And I really love TJ Klune's covers, for sure. Yeah. Okay, what's the life prompt for that one? What is the most beautiful place you've visited? I have visited a lot of places, but my favorite, as far as beauty goes, is still just our very own Oregon coast. Like, it's breathtaking every time I go there. It doesn't matter how many times I've been. It's just breathtaking area. I was trying to think. I've been to a lot of big cities. City skylines are cool, especially in the night, like Busan, Korea. That is beautiful city skyline, but I'm not sure that's what this prompt is necessarily about. I love Germany and Austria. Those areas are really beautiful. But I still just kind of always default back to the Oregon coast. That's why we go there so much. Besides the fact that my daughter lives there, we would still be going there a lot, even if she wasn't there. It's kind of kind of worked out in our favor that she ended up there, I guess. Number 4, you'll be the best of the best. Book prompt. What do you feel confident that you know a lot about with regard to books? I feel confident that I know absolutely nothing. The older you get, the more you realize how you don't know anything, really. And that's kind of how I feel. I used to think I knew a lot about books. I mean, I could tell people about books. I could tell people about authors and different genres and stuff like that, but I don't know anything specific that I know particularly well. I'm mediocre in lots of things, but not expert at any one thing. That's been my spiel for a while now. I just really know nothing. Life prompt. What would be your specialist subject on Mastermind? I don't know what Mastermind is. I looked it up. I guess it's one of these places where people teach classes or something. I don't know. Anyways, I could teach a class about K-pop. I'm sure people would flock to that class to learn all there is. But seriously, though, it is pretty fascinating if you get down into the nitty-gritty of everything. I could teach a class about books even though I know nothing, if you are not wanting like a literary deep discussion, but just sort of an overall fluff. You know what I mean? Maybe that means I couldn't teach it on Mastermind. Maybe Mastermind means deep. Okay, number 5, except when you don't. Book prompt. What kinds of books do you feel that you don't relate to? I've talked about not really relating to mystery. I don't get mystery. I don't understand wanting to know who done it, basically. If the mystery is more of a different kind of a mystery, then I'm fine. But whodunit kind of mysteries aren't my thing. I don't relate to that. Romantasy is a tricky one because I like the idea of romantasy, and I like romantasy in less spice versions, let's say, the YA versions maybe. I am not a fan of the really popular romantasies. I've decided. You all know what I'm talking about. But that's not to say I don't like romantasy. So that one's tricky. And horror. Horror is something I just don't know enough about yet. I think I would be fine with horror. I just haven't figured out what I'm fine with yet. Does that make sense? Life prompt. What is something you've stopped doing that you've given up on? Well, okay, there's lots. I've stopped blogging, basically. That used to be huge in my life. Pretty much stopped that. Trying to keep up a once a month post just to keep track of the books I've read. And it pains me to say it. I thought there would never become a day when I would stop blogging because it was such a huge part of my life. But let's see, I've stopped scrapbooking. I used to do that all the time. Not the real intense scrapbooking stuff, but just kind of, sticking stuff in a book and keeping up on recording our lives. Don't really do that anymore. I've stopped eating low carb. That used to be a thing a few years ago, and then I stopped, and now I wish I could go back to it, but I can't really go back to it because you know what is the staple of low carb eating? Eggs. Just saying. Number 6, the waiting place. Book prompt. Name a book you're excited to read that's on your TBR. Well, I just did another tag. I don't know when it will go up. Filming a bunch of things today. I don't know what's going to go up when, but I am excited to read these 2 books. They were just in my other tag. I'm going to read them soon. Okay? All Better Now by Neil Shusterman and Lunar New Year Love Story by Jean Luing Yang and Luyan Pham. I am not saying these names right, I'm sure. Life prompt. What, in general, are you looking forward to the most this year? Last year, I did not get to go to any K-pop concerts. This year, I have 2 in LA, 1 here. Last year, I did do 1 here. So I didn't travel to any, I should say. And there was only 1 here that I went to. This year, in April and May, I'm traveling to LA for 2 concerts. And there is also 1 here. I am very much looking forward to them. I've really, really, really missed it in my life. But that is the frivolous thing that I'm looking forward to. The real thing that I'm looking forward to is grandbaby number 6, coming in probably late June. We do not know what it is because my son and his wife like to be surprised and they do not find out the gender beforehand. And so we'll see, but very excited for another grandbaby. 6 grandbabies. This is insane. I'm also a little bit looking forward to maybe planning a road trip with my parents. My mom has often said that there's many places here that she has not seen that have been on her bucket list. And so we might take a road trip to some of the national parks in the area that my mom hasn't seen. And my dad, we'll just drag him along too. I kind of want to plan that, but I just don't know when it's going to happen. Balancing act. Talk about balancing your time between general life and putting out content on BookTube. This one I just really don't know how to talk about. You just fit it in when you can. Little snippets of time. I have little moments when I can film. And so I have to hurry and get ready and film them, whether I feel in the mood or not. If there's a moment, I film. And then editing, I can do in between all the other things that are happening. Or some days it will be like a heavy film day and a heavy editing day. And then other days I'll be concentrating on other things. This very today that I'm filming this, I have a bonus day where I thought I would be tending, but he didn't come. And so I have a whole free day that I wasn't expecting. So I'm doing all the things in this one day. But yeah, it's really hard. I've said before, I'm trying to fit in a lot of writing right now. So that really takes up a lot of time, and it eats into the YouTubing time and the reading time for sure. That's just trying to fit in my hobbies. That's not even really talking about like family stuff. And I don't know. You just do it. You just do what you got to do. You just don't waste much time. I'm pretty good about doing lots of things in little chunks of time, and so that there's not a lot of wasted time. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't know if that helps anybody, if that's even a good answer or not. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this little tag about going places. We'll tag some people down in the description when I'm editing, thinking of some people that maybe haven't done this. And hopefully you will find this one fun too. Lots of fun tags and things out there right now. Ooh, good luck keeping up, everyone. As I sign off today, I will show you outside my window. Today on this lovely spring day.